Thank you all for keeping it on Ken's 5. Let's face it, almost all of us have doubts and insecurities that run through our mind. For today's GDSA Book Club, you'll meet an author who is using some of his life experiences to empower others.
Good morning, Daniel Brown. You are an author. We're looking forward to hearing about your book, which sounds like it could be relatable to a lot of people. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Roma. It is a pleasure to be on with you. I'm such a fan of your work, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today.
Well, thank you so much. Tell us a little bit about your book and what exactly was the purpose behind writing it and the title as well. I think it's very catchy.
Well, the book is called The Sometimes Why, and it's short stories, monologues, and words to that effect is the name of the book. And it started out as being theater pieces that I've written, like monologues to be performed on stage, and it turned into short stories, and I wanted to compile them into one volume, so I put them into a book. And what I've tried to do is create something that's very relatable to people. I've done that with stage work, and I'm doing that with this book. In this book, there's no heroes, there's no villains. All the characters are just these flawed, imperfect humans with good and bad traits, sort of like us, Roman. Most people see themselves as flawed and they experience periods of doubt and insecurity. And this is the place where a lot of the main characters of my book find themselves. And it's my hope that people will read this book and take comfort in knowing that they're not alone in this feeling.
What inspired you to write the book?
I'll tell you, I've been a writer for a long time. And I was writing, like I said, pieces for live theater in New York. And someone had asked me, like, oh, is there a place where we could find all your works together? And there really wasn't. And so I just had the impetus that was sort of the launching point to put them in a book. And then so I started to write a little bit longer short stories and put some verse in there and just put a bunch of stuff together so I could, just say, hey, this is what I've done, and kind of give people a sample of what I do.
Wow, that's really neat. And so are these all fictional stories? What kind of stories can we expect to read?
See, they're all real life stuff. And are they fictional stories? Yes, they all are fictional stories, but they're nuggets of reality thrown in. There's a piece of a story where a kid is at the Graceland Mansion and he's arguing with a tour guide over the real way in which Elvis Presley had died. And that's something I actually witnessed on a trip to Graceland. It was this really uncomfortable experience. And then another story has a kid who gets their first communion and it gets stuck to the roof of their mouth and they're afraid they're going to choke on it. That actually happened to me. And for the first time, I kind of talked about that. I had forgotten it, but that happened. But I just wanted people to know the story where the kid steals the watch off the dead body in the coffin during a wake is not a real story. I didn't really do that. That's totally made up. So please don't think that I did. Well, also, I've done the thing of making all the lead female characters female. And I wanted to do that sort of to create more roles for females, but also it throws people off the track that there's some truth in things that I've done or somebody's feelings I've experienced. I can kind of pass it off saying, no, that's somebody else. It's not really me. But a lot of it is me as far as the feelings go, like we talked about before with the dealing with crossroads in life and insecurities.
How can people purchase it and get in touch with you?
Well, they can purchase the book online. It's available on Amazon.com. It's available at BarnesandNoble.com and a lot of other places as well. They can go on Facebook to the Sometimes Why BK for book. That's my Facebook page on that. And Amazon and Barnes and Noble, I'm all over the internet. We've done some commercials and stuff. So if you run into me, let me know what you think of the book. It would mean a lot to me if you could read it. And I do appreciate your time today. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much.